Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 475. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
And Tony Kokonakis.
Hola.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to 475 of the Gamecast. We have, well, it's PlayStation's birthday today. The original PlayStation, 25 years old.
Happy birthday.
It's incredible. I saw that news and I'm like, wow, it really is that long. Man, I'm getting old.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, man, what was that? Well, I got to do the math here. 13 when that came out? Yeah, 13.
1994, right?
Yeah, I was 13. Man, we're gonna talk about that tonight. We'll get into that in a little bit. Let's start off obviously with what we've been up to. I will kick us off saying I've been playing more Outer Worlds. I'm still almost. I got to be pretty far into that.
How are you not done with that, dude?
I didn't play much. Well, with the holiday weekend, believe it or not, I didn't play as much as I expected. But I should be done with it. I played a lot yesterday with the snow day. So I should almost be done. I'm at the point where I'm level 19, so I'm not that far, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, the cap is 30.
Oh, man, I might be far along in the story, though. I don't know how I play. I haven't done a lot of side quests. I've done the ones that I felt like fit my character's interests. One of the things I did early yesterday was the one planet I was on with, there was like these three factions that were like arguing with each other constantly. I just gave them all shit. And I couldn't solve this one quest in it. I couldn't figure out how to get them to talk. So I ended up just killing one of them. And I was like, at this point, I'm like, my character would not be doing this. Like, I like
not stand for this shit.
Yeah. So I killed him, the one I liked the least, because the other two were actually like kind of like villains. One was very sarcastic, and then one of them was kind of like he was like one of those guys, like a suit, who was a villain, but he was like very crappy as a villain. So like I'm like, my character would probably help him because in the future I would control this man. So that's why I helped him. It was that kind of a person. And then the other one was, I'm like, this guy's too smart. That's why I shot him in the head. So he was down. So yeah, that was like my big encounter. And I even like talked shit to all of them during the whole fallout of it. That was when the ship crashed afterwards.
Oh, I know now.
Yeah. So I did that whole thing. But yeah, I was done with those guys. I'm like, my dialogue fit perfectly for what I was going to say.
It's kind of on my second playthrough. I did try to come to, make them talk. There's a lot you got to do.
I just didn't bother. Like, even when they were talking over the radio with the ship coming down, I was like, you guys are a bunch of idiots. I should have killed you all. That was one of the dialogue options. I'm like, I said it because I'm like, and I'm like, that's what I would say because I'm like, I'm just done with all of these people. And at this point, like, at that point, I was like, I'm done with that. And then, so I don't know. That planet was fine. But it gets into the point of what I mentioned earlier on the movie cast, where it's just so all the same. And I'm like, it is very repetitive. It really, really prevents this thing from being a Game of the Year contender because it's so repetitive. Like, it's exactly a game that was timed perfectly for its release, but it's just lacking in its variety so much that it just cannot be in my Game of the Year contention. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to play Shenmue, and I'm sure I'm going to say the same thing about Shenmue. The problem I have right now is I want to play Jedi Fallen Order, but I don't. Like, that is a Dark Souls game, and Sekiro kicked my ass.
That hard.
Sekiro kicked my ass, and apparently it is that hard. A lot of people are playing.
I think there's a optional difficulty.
There's an optional difficulty this time, so I will play on the easiest setting. I will play on the easiest setting. And I'm happy to hear this is going on sale this weekend at Target, the buy two get one. Because there's I got a 20% off coupon, and they sent me two $5 coupons today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm going for that massive stack. I hope for 3 games for what is that going to be, like $80 or whatever it is?
Something like that.
Yeah, $85 it'll be. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope it works. But I did get the Shenmue collection with a steelbook, which I'll probably end up like bringing back. Oh, it's all blurred. Sorry, everybody. My background's blurring. It does a good job blurring that, and keeping my face. Wow, that was good. Good job, Skype. So I'm going to be trading in some games over at GameStop as well. So I don't know. I'm never going to play Borderlands 3. That was the big waste of the time. This year, that was my big waste. It was a $100 purchase that I'm going to attempt to return someplace this year because it's unopened right now. Unopened. and it's a super deluxe edition, and I've unopened it. It is not opened, and I'm not gonna play that game. Like everything I've read about that game I have zero interest in it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Corey's not here to defend it, but he hasn't been strong in his
he has.
of it lately.
Like we all joked about it before, like when it was like being teased and
we
rumored. We're like, we're never gonna see Corey again. It's like he's like, I've been playing board games and this other stuff. I'm like, who the fuck is this? This isn't Corey.
It honestly sounds like the game is kind of disappointing just because of that. to me. But you know, I don't know, and everyone just says that the humor is just bad now, and I don't know if it's the same one.
I heard the humor is just really childish now, so that's the problem.
It's always been a little like, you know, lowbrow, but I feel like from what I've seen on streams and stuff, it feels like they pushed that a little bit too far, and it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to like shit talk, but it seems like they went for like, I don't know, like the Family Guy, Rick and Morty style, like just you know, haha dude bro type of jokes. It's like cool, I guess. It's just, I don't know, feels weird, but yeah, it sucks. I probably have to return mine too because I used the promotion when that game came out to like boost a bunch of trade-ins at GameStop for like I don't know, 20% extra. So I just have it sealed, but if you're returning it too, and Mike, you're not planning on getting it, then I'm absolutely not going to play it. So
again, like I've been waiting for something to be like, all right, you should get this, and it just never happened.
Yeah. I feel like that's going to be an early Game Pass title next year too, like first 6 months of the year.
If that happens, then I'll probably get on. I'll try to convince my Xbox people to play it. But
nah, I mean, I'm going to attempt to like run to Walmart and hope they take it back, and I'll just get a credit there and just I'll buy something else.
Back.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it after the holiday season. Like I mean, they'll take almost anything after December 25th, you know.
That's what I'm thinking. Like Christmas, you know, the return day, the 26th, I'll go out and try to return it. The big return day.
I want to do it the 26th. Maybe like the 27th or 28th. 26th is shitty, dude. I would not want to do that.
But that's the day that it's kind of like they might just push it. Like, just go ahead. Just go ahead. Go ahead. Here's credit. Here's credit. Here's credit. Here's credit. Just go.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Yeah, I will see. I mean, I have to return to Shenmue 3 as well. Because I have
buy one or.
Well, I have 2 of them now, so that's unopened as well. And
I like the Kickstarter one, right?
I like this. Yeah, I did, but I like the Steelbook a lot. So I'm like, if I can get somebody to give me full credit for that in the store, I might just get that.
And you haven't started that yet?
Wait, was the was the Steelbook like a separate thing? Like
yeah, it's separate.
Oh, okay. I like when they do that. I like when they do that.
2 options.
Yeah. So yeah, just return the disc package.
Yeah, they're both unopened. That's what I'm thinking. So
that's what I did with Bloodstain. I got the
Yeah, so I'm gonna trade in Doom 3 and Ultimate Alliance like tomorrow because GameStop's giving extra $5.
Ultimate Alliance, man. There's like no mention of the next DLC. Like
it's got to be this month.
Well, it was at the 30th before. You think it would be the end of December?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I expected something by now, at least an announcement or something. Like,
dude, like the way Nintendo is, like they just like we'll get into the news, but like they just announced a Mario Maker 2 huge update for Thursday. So it's just like, and they announced it yesterday. So it's like they'll just shadow drop the shit out of stuff. So it's possible. This is my personal speculation that we'll get it like the last week in December here.
Maybe because the free stuff and then the first one came like, you know, just a month apart really. So I was like, all right, maybe we'll get one, you know, this fall, and nothing.
Yeah.
Well, we got the Halloween one.
That was another game that for me.
That was September 30th.
I wish it was finished. I feel like the game is just not finished. So.
I mean, that's the theme of a lot of games, Jim.
Yeah.
The game. It's not that it's not. It's just it's not. It looks like the old ones a lot, but then once you get into it, it's way different. It's got a different sort of agenda. It's more about, you know, sort of grinding for this replay value instead of like exploration and true RPG stuff, other than the sort of detailed ISO 8 stuff, which is very RPG, but you got to find it.
Yeah. So, all right, that's all I've been up to, guys. Tony, what have you been up to? Sorry, we were going to talk about Outer Worlds. Go on.
Not too much, just more Pokemon while I'm watching Simpsons.
Yeah.
And let's
trying to make the sparkly Pokemon.
Yeah, I picked up a couple games. I got Ace Combat, whatever number it is, on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got that in today, so I'll probably try that out sometime before the next podcast. I just love flying games and stuff like that. Obviously, my dad was a pilot, my brother's a pilot, stuff like that. So dogfighting is kind of cool and stuff like that. And I picked up, I pre-ordered Indivisible on Switch. It's not out yet, but it was like $15 or whatever, but it's coming out in like, I think January or something like that. So that'll be pretty cool. And then I actually picked up Ring Fit Adventure because
I want to get that.
my friends that have it swear by it. I was like, it's really fun. Like this, it's not like Wii Fit like get tired after like a week or two, right? And they're like, no, it's legitimately like a fun RPG game. And I'm just like, all right, like, you know what? I got my Target red card discount, plus I needed to buy something to get the coupon anyway. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll just get it. And so I haven't tried it out yet, but that'll be coming up shortly as well.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go trade some stuff in over at GameStop. So maybe I'll get that with the credit. I don't know. And I'll use the Target massive discounts I have to get some games over there. I got Resident Evil as well from Best Buy.
Oh yeah, $15, dude. Can't go wrong. Man. Can't go wrong.
Resident Evil 2 for 15. It's on its way. So
that's the price of a movie ticket, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I bought it. And, you know, if I get to it in January, that's fine. It's still $15. I'll get it to it and I'll play it. Yeah. So I got that. And what else did I pick up on that? I feel like I'm forgetting one other game I bought. No, I didn't. I went to Walmart to get the Shazam movie, and I came across that they had Final Fantasy 10 and 10 2 for like $15.
Oh, 15, yeah.
I think it was $15 for Switch, and I'm I would do this because it's on my Switch.
I would do this,
but I'm like, I talked myself out of it because I'm like, no. You got Shenmue. There's like so many games to flip through. I'm like, I can't do this right now. So I put it back on the shelf. Yeah. But for $15, I'm like, it was tough. And I already had played 10, so I'm like, I don't have to replay a game. Right now I have games I haven't played, so I have to get through those. Mike, anything?
I've actually done a couple different things because I'm pretty much, like I said last time I was on, I think I exhausted Outer Worlds. I did 2 playthroughs, and I found what I needed to, but I'm like, all right, I wish there was more, but there isn't. And that's why I don't know what would be the game of the year for me, though, thinking about it, other than that. So, actually, Ultimate Alliance is right. They're like the same level for me. But anyway, so I moved on to, I did Return to Arkham Asylum before, so now I'm doing Return to Arkham City.
Oh, okay.
Arkham City is among my favorite games ever, and I'm playing it again. Honestly, it's still really good. What I forgot is the Riddler stuff in this is hard. Like, it's more, you need to think more. This is like the detective aspect of Batman here, like trying to figure out all this stuff. There's a lot of, like, you know, it's not just unlock something with your ability. Some are, but other things like figure out how to make all this work with what you have. So it's pretty cool. And then I had to go to my brother's when the snow happened because it's way closer to where I work. So I didn't get a snow day, so I was there. And all I had there was my old PlayStation 4. So I downloaded the Sonic Mania Plus expansion for $5. And that's actually more involved than I thought it would be. If you remember, they added those 2 characters, Ray the Flying Squirrel and Mighty the Armadillo. And they have individual abilities. Flying Squirrel guy kind of glides, he kind of sucks. And but the Mighty guy has a ground pound thing, and he doesn't get hurt by spikes when he's in a ball, which is pretty useful, especially against some bosses. But the whole Encore mode that you play with them, it's them and potentially Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. But the way it works, instead of having lives, in the bonus stages, you unlock the other 5 characters when you have like 50 rings and get to a checkpoint. So it has a different sort of strategy. Like your roster of 5, they die permanently until you save them again when you get for 50 rings at another checkpoint and win them back. So it's interesting. And they have a few new bosses this time around. So it's a better expansion than I thought it would be. But I played through the whole thing in the 2 days I was stuck there. So it's pretty good. Sonic Mania was definitely a fun thing for last few years, and it's not huge or anything, and it sort of suffers that old school game thing where the second half levels that are harder are kind of less fun, but it's still like I'm hoping, looking in your horizon to see if they add like a new, well, actually a sequel at this point they would do.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like it's interesting that Sega just has had nothing Sonic other than like I think they came out with another racing game, right? That just did.
Yeah, there's going to be an Olympic thing with Mario too.
Oh, I have that. I think
Yes.
I didn't talk about that. I have it. I haven't played it yet. Still in the wrapper.
One of those.
That's a very like popular subject game. That game. So the Mario Sonic. Yeah.
Yeah, those are just mini game things. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds
But like
cool.
one like it's weird that they're not doing like another like 3D Sonic or 2D Sonic because like 2D Sonic. I mean, it wasn't even done by Sonic Team, right? It was done by that.
Yeah, Christian Whitehead's headcanon or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, so like you would think they would like rehire him, just do Sonic Mania 2 or something, right?
Yeah,
you would think.
Think so. Maybe they will. Maybe they're waiting a little. I don't know.
Because it came out in what 2017, right?
I think.
Because I think I got on my Switch the first year because I was just looking.
Yeah, it's been a little while now.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into our news, and then we'll get into our topic, which is PlayStation's birthday. So, in the news, let's kick it off with Resident Evil 3. We mentioned it last week real quick. Now the covers are leaking for this remake. This is happening. With a redesigned Nemesis, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
How far do you think they're going to go with this? Are we going to go 4?
Eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, that's the thing is, like, I mean, Resident Evil 4 came out in, like, what, 2000?
It needs to.
3 or 4?
Well, it has been released.
Well,
it has been released on, like, it's been released on, like, every game system ever now. It still could use a remaster. Like,
and I think that might be the highest before the RE2 remake, like, the individual selling. Because, like you said, Jim, it was ported to almost everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Even, like, mobile and stuff like that. It's fucking crazy. So
yeah, I think this remake looks cool. I'm actually psyched to try 2. I can't wait to get that and try that. 3. So, I mean, how do you feel about Nemesis the redesign? Like, is that controversial or is that just okay?
I think it's fine because, I mean, this isn't really a spoiler, I hope, but I mean, Nemesis like evolves and mutates as the game goes on. So that's just his base design. So I'm sure they're gonna amp it up because some of the shit you'll see in the remake like. Didn't looked hokey on the original PlayStation because it was the original PlayStation. Now you're just like, oh shit, like yeah, it's kind of fucked up. Like, ugh, like everything is squishy or sharp or teethy or slimy or stabby, like all sorts of flavors of Doom.
Yeah. So all right,
but, so I think anyway, real quick, the leak happened on PlayStation Network, so I'm expecting this will either be at Game Awards next week or I think PlayStation's having their show or something like that. Or something like that.
I assume we'll get
right now.
I assume we'll get more of a Persona 5 Royale announcement there, unlike the leak we had / the confirmation today of when it's coming out on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, apparently they're actually doing something in the big American cities like New York City, San Francisco. They're like, oh, fan fees are taking over, so who knows what that's going to entail. Well, should be
we'll see. I mean, I saw I saw that leak and I'm like, oh, it's March 31st, right? Is that when it's going to be? 2020 or March 30th, 2020?
Yeah.
So, looking forward to that. I mean, I still can't believe there's no Switch game. I mean, I really can't believe it, honestly.
Dude, it's still one of like it hurts. That hurts. Yeah. Like aside from the bet I have with Corey, like it just hurts because there's no reason for it to not because it's clearly not a graphics issue. The game was released on base PlayStation 4 or 3.
Perfect game for it.
Base PlayStation 3. So it's like. What the fuck are you doing? And like all the free marketing from the Smash Brothers thing, like
I thought that was a gimme right there.
Yeah.
So unless they're gonna surprise us at this, not at this event, but
that would be funny.
Later, but
they're like, oh, by the way,
coming to Switch.
Yeah, coming to Switch.
When is the awards again?
The 12th.
Oh, so soon.
Yeah, it's next week.
All right.
It's next week.
This is it, man, for that Batman game. It's happening now.
Yeah, we'll see. If they announce this Batman game, I mean, I don't even know. Like,
December 12th.
Yeah, December 12th. So it's Thursday, right? Thursday.
I think there was rumor. I didn't look at it too closely. I heard rumors that there was a leak that they were definitely revealing that game this month.
We'll see. I believe it when I see it, Mike. I don't.
I
think
mean,
so.
again, I kind of do at this point, but it's not going to be like it's still Montreal and Roger Craig Smith instead of Kevin Conroy. So like, I'll see it, I'll play it, but it's not exactly the top tier in my opinion.
We'll see. What else we have? Oh, Jim Ryan confirms no more PlayStation portables. So much to the despise of the Vita fans and lovers, it's over. It is over. Not shocked from that. Mario Kart Tour was the most downloaded iPhone game of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, beating Fortnite.
Yeah, that's incredible to me. Because I mean, Mario Kart only came out in like the last 2 months or so. So that's huge.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, do they have a number for this? I didn't get to read the article. Did they give you like numbers downloaded?
I think somewhere they did. Let me.
Top free iPhone games. I just love to know the downloads of it. I don't.
Well, in October 28th, there was a report that it had 124 million downloads in its first month. So. Yeah,
that'll do it. Jesus. Wow, it's impressive. Huh.
I mean, Mario Kart's that system.
Yeah,
that's the system.
Look at Mario Kart 8's been selling so well for.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the number one selling Switch game. There's nothing that will ever come out that will top it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have a great battle mode.
No. What is this? Logitech G unveils limited edition Pro wireless mice. What is this one?
Yeah, I just put that there because they're doing a charity edition mouse where it's like I think one of them's pink and there's going to be another new one in the new year. But it's for charity with people with disabilities, and they're actually working with. They cited specifically, if you read the article, the Microsoft Adaptive Controller as part of like the reason why they're getting to that fray now.
Okay.
So I just thought it was really cool that because I think we talked around this time last year how like that was a huge win for Microsoft as a whole. Even though it's not directly related to like a video game you play, but like making gaming like just more accessible and diverse and stuff like that. So I think that was really cool that they're teaming up and partnering and working to grow that scene.
Cool. All right, and then last of the news, we have the PlayStation 5 dev kits are out there in the wild. Pictures of them showing up.
I thought this is old news.
Yeah, but this was this was last week. There's somebody put a tweet out with a picture of the console. This was leaked. The design was leaked.
Yeah, that's right.
This is an actual picture in the wild of the dev consoles. Did the final thing look anything like this, you think?
No.
I think it looks terrible, so I hope not.
Yeah, no. I mean, it is a V for 5, so I think that's the reason behind it.
Oh, yeah, but are they going to do that with the final design?
No.
I don't think so. It looks like some weird like VCR design.
It does. It looks like a 1980s like style like beta design from Sony. I don't know. They're cool. They're in the wilds. It's got a disc tray. That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Looks like a DualShock 4 controller. I don't know. They're out there, but I thought we'd mention at the end because now we can talk about PlayStation's 25th birthday. This is the original console. Our topic tonight is this, where we're going to basically go over our memories of this machine and like
that one specifically, or just PlayStation in general.
You can talk about PlayStation in general. I will discuss just PlayStation in general because that was for me like I was 13 years old.
It's fine because I never had the original.
Yeah, I wanted the system. Like it's funny because I never owned the system. I never owned this one. I was waiting for the N64. And and Corey, if he was on here, we'd be talking about the Saturn. He had that console, and I was just like, I never thought Sony had any chance with that system coming out, with Nintendo and Sega dominating things as they did with the Genesis and Super Nintendo. So I would like just give them massive credit because they got some games out there that at the time were amazing, and you go back and look at it and you're like, man, I played this and I loved it. Like Battle Arena, Toshinden. That game for me, I love to play that game, and it was like you look at that game now. And Bushido Blade was another early game that I played on that system. I'm like, man, that looks very crude, but I actually, like I said, I never owned the system. There was times where I would go to Blockbuster and rent that. Blockbuster, for those wondering, used to rent games and movies and consoles. Yeah, that was a place you could go to rather than your digital stores. You'd have to go to a store and rent something. But anyways, Blockbuster Video used to rent out the consoles for a while, and I remember this because the PlayStation original design, the PS1000 models, were so defective. So defective that when you rented the console, you had to look up online. Actually, there was no online. Word of mouth. I'm sorry, word of mouth.
Put it upside down.
Put it upside down.
No Windows 95.
Yeah, the guy at the Blockbuster had to help me with that. I called and I'm like, I can't play this. It's skipping constantly. And he said, well, just flip it over. And I'm like, what? And he told me you have to flip the console over and it will actually play okay. So I did that and it would work. You flip the console over. Yeah. So that was the original disc drive. So that was my memory from the system, and the black bottomed PlayStation discs. That was something different too. I don't know. Everything else was, you remember CDs back then were just coming out, were just like silver. So you had a black bottom disc, which was cool. That was just, without getting into many games, that was like the big memories for me for this system. 25 years old, I just can't believe it's been that long. Anyways, Tony, memorable stuff from this, like game wise. I mean, we have Final Fantasy VII is obviously the major, like, easy one, but
yeah, I mean, for me, PlayStation, it wasn't one of those things that we had either for a while.
I was a Nintendo at that point. I was all Nintendo at that point.
Yeah, same. But my friend would rent it. I mean, his mom would pay for him to rent the system, and I don't know how much it was, but I think sure couldn't have been cheap. Must have been like at least $20 a week.
It was $20, and you had to put like a $50 deposit down with it.
Yeah.
So if I remember, it was something like that, or $100.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, you could.
You figure that in like a game, like you're fucking. I'm not even sure if they supplied the memory card, to be honest.
No, there were no memory cards.
But
you could buy them from the store.
Right, but I remember being fascinated by the idea of a memory card because like my friend and I were like, whoa, like so like we don't have to worry about people like deleting our save file off the rented games, because that was always the fear that if you rented like an RPG or something, somebody would just delete your save file and stuff like that. So it's like, oh cool, we just keep our save file on this memory card. It doesn't matter anymore.
I'm thinking right now, like people listening to this, they don't have no idea what rentals were. And you're like, wait, somebody would delete your game? Yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing. Yeah, real thing. Yeah.
But I guess for the PlayStation 1 era, my biggest memories were he would rent like the original Resident Evil, which at the time was like pretty groundbreaking. Because you're like, oh shit, like it's a maze like action horror game and stuff like that. And the CGI sequences, at least back then, were mind blowing. It's like, oh my god, holy shit, look at these graphics. And even though that like voice acting and the acting in general were just terrible. Yeah, but that, I mean, Final Fantasy VII, and there's just a lot of good, like, just quirky games that came out for it, like Mega Man Legends. I remember loving that.
I forgot about that. I was looking up because I wanted to not forget anything, so I started looking up lists, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about Mega Man Legends. That was like a game when it came out, I laughed at it. And I'm like, this is going to be fucking horrible. And then I played it, and I remember playing it and how much fun that game was. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite games of all time, Final Fantasy Tactics. I remember that. That was on that system.
Tactics, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, just gave me some incredible times. And, I always kind of shit talk the PlayStation 1 and N64 a lot because it was like I view it like the NES, where it's like groundbreaking for the time because it's new tech, but it doesn't age as well as like the next system did, like, the Super Nintendo and PlayStation 2. But for me, the sound quality of those CD music was just phenomenal.
That was a selling point. That was a selling point back then.
Yeah, I mean, it was also a CD player,
Yeah, that was true.
Didn't have that,
Yeah.
And then I remember also another cool thing was the demo discs. Do you remember getting demo discs?
Yes, demo discs, yeah.
Like I was trying to buy one of those random PlayStation fan magazines because it had a demo disc of like 5 games. You're like, oh yeah, for like $8 you get a demo disc.
$8.99 or whatever it was. You get a demo disc of like a couple games, and there's like one level every game.
And that was fine though. It was cool. Yeah. Wipeout, Crash.
It came with a demo disc of like it came with
sampler hits and stuff like that. And it was just it was a good time. Like I remember being very hesitant about it, but it was very apparent that they were offering something that Nintendo wasn't. So,
It was interesting.
Really cool.
I remember like the load times I was always worried about because we were with Nintendo with cartridges. The games that they were churning out with the polygons back then, which look unbelievable how bad they've aged. But back then it was so groundbreaking. It was like, holy shit, this game looks amazing, and now it looks like garbage. And it's funny because like the old pixel like sprites look great still. They hold up. Like you look at Street Fighter Alpha 3 and how good that game still looks compared to a memorable game on there. I remember the rare Dragon Ball game, but that always stands
GT?
out. Yeah, GTA. That game was horrible. Yeah.
Dude, that game was horrible, but I remember
it was horrible.
being like, I had to rent it so often.
Had to rent it. Yep.
Oh, so often.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many good games on there. Parappa the Rappa, I think, is my big thing about that memory for that system. I would play that in the store when I was working at EB. At that point, it was still out there, so I was still like playing that in the store when I was working there in '99. I would pop that in the system and play that throughout the day randomly, because we had time to do that, back then. But Mike, what about you? Like, I know you said PS2 possibly because you missed the PS1.
Not to go the reverse way, but I never had any interest in the PlayStation 1, and I still don't. But like, we go through all this list of stuff. It's like, it's nothing. I don't regret the N64 over that at all. But I did get a PlayStation 2 eventually, and that was because of the incredible third-party support that Sony had with the PlayStation game.
Yeah.
So, and although it was for Jeopardy and Matrix Path of Neo, mostly.
Really? Those are the ones? Really? Like, not like, I thought you would go like Tony Hawk or like,
I think we did get that, but at that point I was sort of over Tony Hawk. I already played, the first two or so.
I remember playing the first game, like being so bad at that game. But yeah, go on.
But yeah, I mean, at that point, that's when I first started noticing that the third-party support is starting to lean a little bit more towards PlayStation. I still liked my GameCube or whatever I had back then, but yeah, I got that late in that generation, and and the wrestling games that were exclusive to each one. I think Here Comes the Pain was on that too, which was actually probably better than most modern wrestling games.
That was when they were doing they're actually spending time on them.
Yeah, it had more like this open sort of like season mode where you would like had some agency over how the story would play out as far as choosing who you would fight or just like binary choices. But it was pretty cool back then. So yeah, it was really PlayStation 2 that started my PlayStation interests.
Yeah. I mean, you're younger, so yeah, you missed the original.
I mean, again, I didn't miss it. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, I mean, you missed the evolution to the DualShock. I mean, there was just the controller that was terrible back then, with no analog sticks. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think like any other games on the original one. But the PlayStation 2 was like so much more refined, and that's why it sold so well. It was like what they learned from the first one, they enhanced on the second one, because of what they'd done. But the PlayStation, because it did so well, is why these other ones exist. I mean, it wouldn't be around if they flopped. And I mean, a lot of it had to do with how bad Sega did. Their failure to have a cohesive idea with going forward with like after the Genesis was the big undoing, and that kind of opened the market for Sony, who was ready there. And not to mention, think about the cards with that. Like Nintendo was also going to partner with them, and then that fell through. So all of this like fell into Sony that it could have been like horrible for them, and now they're that's what they're known for really now. It's a PlayStation. So
it's like keeping their brand alive and relevant.
Yeah, that's what they're known for now. I mean, their TVs are terrible now. They have no movie department.
Dead.
The Walkman's dead. They have no movie department anymore. It's they have Spider-Man right now in the movies, and that's it.
Yep.
So they have the PlayStation, and that their entertainment, their computer entertainment system, or whatever they call it. So
yeah, and honestly, for me, like my highlight of all the PlayStations might be early this generation, PlayStation 4, and all the surprise exclusives. To me, like that's the highlight of my PlayStation experience. Like with Horizon, Spider-Man, God of War, like all these surprises, and that's I guess what it's doing good right now. But to me, that's PlayStation at its height. Like, and Uncharted maybe the generation before, but
yeah. Those were awesome games. So yeah, I don't know anything else to add, guys. I think we're good. I think we covered a lot of the good old games, and some of the newer ones. I hope we didn't forget one of those massive games that somebody else liked, but we covered the main ones. I think. Oh, Metal Gear Solid that premiered on the system.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid. I mean, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh, Symphony of the Night. That's right.
That was the thing is like there was just so many games that came out of like left field from third parties because that's what it was. I mean, people back then, right? Nintendo had such a grip on the industry that all these third parties were looking for somebody like Sony that was just like, yeah, come, we'll give you a cheaper rate on publishing fees, licensing fees, all that shit. Just make whatever you can on our fucking system, and it was a gold mine of just all these incredible. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of shit, but there's so many gems in the rough, and like all those franchises are now established now. You look at Metal Gear Solid, Crash Bandicoot, I mean, Tomb Raider, obviously it was on PC, but I think the PlayStation 1 release helped.
Tomb Raider was built on the PlayStation. Yeah,
exactly.
No question.
I always consider that a PlayStation game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, even if the Microsoft paid for exclusive, and it's still thinking about it as a PlayStation game. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't, it was only timed exclusive, but still, I don't know. So it's impressive. It really is. 25 years for the system, and PlayStation 5 on the horizon. They've got a lot of adjustments. I think I hope that they learn from their PlayStation 3, because obviously that started off so poorly. That they
it was super expensive.
Yeah, so I really hope that they learned from that to not try to just there's signs from this that they haven't from the PlayStation 4 at the end here, that cross-play and not really. There's the guy that's taking over to run the system basically has said that he doesn't really care about what not really third-party games, but cross-platform play, single-player games. I think he said before as well. So I really hope that. Which is what they're doing really well in the system. So I hope that we don't.
That's what they are.
Yeah, I really hope they don't go really bad on the PlayStation 5. So, but we'll see.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think that's going to wrap up 475 of the Gamecast. Thanks for tuning in. You can write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek. Like us on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Tune in next week for more topics, more end of the year talk coming up. Thanks.
Oh, man.
Hit the stop recording, Tony.
Oh.
I'm using your recording, so.